They laughed when he said nothing. They doubted while he stayed silent. But in the quiet, away from the noise and judgment, he was rebuilding every broken piece of his life. This is the story of the man who let the world doubt him, and in that silence, fixed his life beyond anyone's imagination. What happened next isn't just a comeback. It's a lesson in power, patience, and unshakable strength. Silence is often mistaken for weakness, but in truth, it's one of the most powerful tools a person can wield. When the world expects you to defend yourself, argue back, or prove your worth through words, choosing silence is an act of inner strength. It's not submission, it's strategy. It's the quiet refusal to let outside noise dictate your worth or direction. The man who let the world doubt him understood something most people never grasp. Real growth doesn't come with claps or confirmation. It happens in the unseen moments, the quiet spaces where nobody is watching. When he stopped reacting, he started rising. No explanations, no responses, just focused work in the shadows. While others wasted time mocking, gossiping, and doubting, he was building in silence. He trained his mind, healed his wounds, and sharpened his vision. Because true elevation isn't loud, it's intentional. And when you're truly focused on changing your life, you don't have time to convince others that you're doing it. The noise around him was nothing compared to the fire within. He knew silence wasn't giving up. It was gearing up. There's power in restraint, in not answering critics, in letting people talk while you act. The world is loud with opinions, but silence is where you find clarity. Most people respond to doubt with desperation, trying to prove themselves. But those who truly understand power respond with patience. They know that silence holds energy. It stores every insult, every rejection, every dismissal, and converts it into drive. That's what this man did. He didn't get bitter. He got better. He didn't get louder. He got stronger. The ones who aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who move in quiet precision while everyone else is distracted. He let them doubt him because he knew the outcome would speak louder than any defense ever could. You don't owe anyone a response when your results can answer for you. That's what makes silence so lethal. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't seek approval. It just delivers. When he came back, he wasn't the same. He didn't need to explain where he'd been or what he'd been through. His life was the proof. His glow was the evidence. His discipline had carved out a new version of himself, forged in solitude and strengthened in silence. And by the time the world finally noticed, he was already too far ahead to be caught. Because while they talked, he worked. While they laughed, he learned. While they watched, he transformed. Silence isn't the absence of action. It's the amplifier of it. Doubt is a weapon wielded by others, but in the hands of the determined, it becomes fuel for unstoppable momentum. When the world casts its shadows of disbelief, the man who fixed his life in silence didn't shrink away. He used those doubts as the very fire that forged his path forward. Every sneer, every whisper of skepticism wasn't a blow to his spirit. It was a kindling to ignite his resolve. Doubt only has power if you let it. When you know your worth and your vision, it becomes nothing more than noise, easily tuned out and transformed into energy. The people who doubted him saw only the surface, his struggles, his silence, his setbacks, but they missed the unseen battle inside. That battle was fought with relentless belief and unwavering focus. Doubt from others can feel like chains, but he chose to turn those chains into wings. He understood that the opinions of others don't define him unless he allows them to. This mindset is rare because it requires a deep self-awareness and courage to look past immediate judgment and keep moving toward what only you can see. Fueling your ambition with doubt requires discipline. It means waking up every day with a voice of criticism ringing in your ears and choosing to respond not with words but with actions. It means staying committed when the world doubts your potential, when the easy path is to give up, to prove to everyone they're right by quitting. But instead, he made the choice to prove them wrong, not by shouting back, but by quietly building a life they couldn't ignore. The fire inside him burned hotter because of the cold shoulders and dismissive laughter he received. When doubt surrounds you, it can paralyze or propel you. The difference lies in how you interpret it. For many, doubt becomes a mirror reflecting their insecurities. For him, doubt became a lens that focuses ambition. It sharpened his vision instead of blurring it. The world's disbelief wasn't a roadblock. It was a signpost showing exactly where he needed to go. Every time someone said he couldn't, wouldn't, or shouldn't, he took a step closer to proving that doubt wrong. Knowing who you are is a foundation of turning doubt into fuel. It's the unshakable belief in your own worth and potential that makes external voices powerless. When you know your value, the judgments of others become irrelevant background noise, unable to derail your mission. This internal confidence transforms doubt from a threat into a challenge, a dare to rise higher, work harder, and become stronger. The man who fixes life in silence teaches that the power of doubt lies not in the hands of those who cast it, but in the hands of those who receive it. It's a choice. Either let it break you or use it as the spark for your transformation. He chose the latter. Every ounce of doubt was converted into fuel, pushing him forward when the world expected him to fall. That's the true strength behind silence and resilience, the ability to turn negativity into unstoppable momentum. Pain is often a silent struggle, fought in the deepest corners of one's soul where no one else can see or understand. The man who fixes life in silence endured this private battle alone, bearing wounds that the world never acknowledged. Pain is raw, isolating, and heavy, yet it is also the crucible in which strength is forged. While others see only the surface, the quiet suffering beneath shapes character, resilience, and determination. His pain was not for display. It was a foundation for a transformation that would one day be impossible to ignore. In solitude, pain becomes both a teacher and a catalyst. It strips away illusions and forces clarity. It demands confrontation with one's fears, failures, and weaknesses. But in facing pain alone without external validation or sympathy, true growth begins. The man who fixes life in silence chose this difficult path, knowing that no crowd's cheers could heal what he needed to repair within himself. His victory wasn't public. It was private, personal, and profound. The darkest battles often lead to the brightest victories, and the most powerful comebacks are born from silent endurance. This silent suffering is misunderstood. Society glorifies loud victories and visible success, but the real work happens behind closed doors. The pain he carried was not wasted. It was invested in rebuilding his life from the ground up. Each moment of hurt, each tear shed in silence, was a brick laid in the foundation of his new self. The quiet moments of struggle are where resilience is crafted, where character is tempered, and where the seeds of future triumph are sown. Pain also sharpens perspective. It teaches the value of perseverance and humility. When you've been broken and rebuilt in silence, you develop an unshakable resolve. The man who fixes life in silence understood that the loud applause of the world is fleeting, but the strength born from pain is enduring. His silence wasn't a sign of defeat. It was a shield protecting his healing process until he was ready to emerge stronger and wiser. The victory that follows pain is loud because it is genuine. When he finally stepped into the light, his life spoke volumes. It told a story of endurance, strength, and transformation that no words could capture. The roar of his success echoed louder than any criticism or doubt he had endured. Pain was the invisible force behind his comeback, a force so powerful that it reshaped his destiny. This journey from silent pain to triumphant victory reveals a profound truth. Pain is not the end, it's the beginning. It's the seed from which strength grows, the fire that forges resilience, and the silent battle that prepares you for the loudest victories. His story proves that the most powerful transformations come not from the absence of pain, but from embracing it and allowing it to fuel your rise. Setbacks are not the final chapter. They are merely the prologue to a greater comeback. The man who fixes life in silence understood this truth deeply. Every perceived failure, every closed door, and every moment of despair was not an end but a beginning. In the face of adversity, most people see defeat and stop moving forward. But he saw an opportunity for reinvention. The setback wasn't a sign to quit. It was a call to rise, stronger and more determined than ever. The power of a comeback lies in its magnitude. It always outshines the fall. Behind every great comeback is a relentless refusal to accept limitations. While the world thought he was broken or lost, he was quietly reconstructing his identity and purpose. Setbacks tested his spirit, but they never shattered it. They became the foundation for a stronger, wiser version of himself. The silence he maintained during these times wasn't emptiness. It was a deliberate pause, a time for reflection, healing, and strategy. This pause allowed him to rebuild without distraction or judgment, away from the noise of naysayers. The true essence of a comeback is transformation. It's not about returning to the same state before the setback, but becoming something new entirely. Someone unrecognizable from who they were before. The man who fixes life in silence embraced this transformation wholeheartedly. He did not seek to reclaim old victories, but to create new ones. His comeback was a rebirth, fueled by lessons learned in hardship and the strength gained from enduring pain. It was a process of shedding old limitations and stepping into a future shaped by his own hands. The comeback also demands patience and resilience. It's not instantaneous. It's gradual and often invisible to others. While they believe he had disappeared or failed, he was steadily advancing, step by step, day by day. This slow, deliberate progress is what sets the truly successful apart from those who give up too soon. The man who fixes life in silence mastered the art of persistence, understanding that meaningful change requires time and unwavering commitment. When he finally emerged, the world wasn't ready for the force he had become. His comeback was not just a return, it was a statement. It declared that no setback is powerful enough to define your destiny unless you allow it. It proved that the greatest victories come after the darkest struggles. His life became a testament to the fact that falling down is inevitable, but getting back up stronger is a choice that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The lesson here is clear. Setbacks are temporary, but the comeback is eternal. It's an arise from failure, the reclaiming of one's power, and the silent rebuilding that true strength is born. The man who fixes life in silence embodies this powerful truth, showing that every fall carries within it the seeds of greater rise, and that the comeback always eclipses the setback. They only notice you after you change, never while you're changing. This is a truth the man who fixes life in silence understood deeply. Transformation is a private journey, often invisible to the outside world. While you are breaking down old habits, shedding limiting beliefs, and rebuilding your identity, few will witness your struggle. The applause, recognition, and validation come only after you have emerged on the other side, stronger, wiser, and unrecognizable to those who doubted you. This reality demands patience and faith in the unseen process, knowing that change is happening even when no one else sees it. People are quick to judge but slow to support. They see results but rarely witness the work behind them. This disconnect can be discouraging, causing many to quit before their transformation is complete. The man who fixes life in silence chose to embrace this solitude, recognizing that external approval is not a prerequisite for growth. He understood that change is not a performance. It's a process. The noisy world may mock your efforts or dismiss your potential, but that noise doesn't define your progress. Your commitment to change is what truly matters. The silence during transformation is powerful. It's a time of deep focus and introspection, where distractions fade and priorities sharpen. The man used this quiet period to dismantle old patterns and build new foundations without the pressure of outside expectations. This invisibility became his shield, protecting his process from judgment and interference. It allowed him to experiment, fail, learn, and adapt freely. Without the weight of public scrutiny, he could evolve authentically and sustainably. When transformation is complete, the world takes notice. But by then, it's often too late for critics to influence the outcome. The man who fixes life in silence became a living example of change. His life a testament to what is possible when you persevere through the invisible struggles. The recognition he received was not about fleeting popularity, but lasting respect earned through genuine progress. This respect is far more valuable because it comes from undeniable results rather than empty words. This keynote teaches a vital lesson about patience and resilience. Change is not immediate, nor is it often celebrated in real time. You may feel invisible or misunderstood while you're evolving, but that invisibility is part of the journey. It means you are doing the hard work quietly, laying the groundwork for a breakthrough that will eventually command attention. The man who fixes life in silence reminds us that the true power lies not in seeking recognition, but in trusting the process, knowing that the results will speak louder than any applause. Ultimately, this understanding frees you from the need for external validation. You stop chasing approval and start focusing on your own growth. You learn to embrace solitude and silence as essential companions on the path to transformation. And when the world finally notices, you stand tall, not because you sought their eyes, but because your life has become impossible to ignore. His journey proves one undeniable truth. True transformation doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in silence, away from the noise of doubt and ridicule. While the world was busy laughing, he was quietly rewriting his story, building a life so strong that no one could ignore it. The man who fixes life in silence shows us that patience, resilience, and unwavering faith in ourselves are the real keys to success. When you embrace the quiet struggle and trust the process, your comeback will not just surprise the world, it will inspire it.